Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel in this fine evening. So Pixie's deep dive is out and we're going to be taking a look at her rotation, full ability breakdown, and also kind of my own personal thoughts and opinions, prestige and everything else. So let's start with her full rotation as explained in the deep dive. So effectively you do need to charge a heavy attack in order to be able to counterweight to activate one of her spells, land a heavy attack to activate other spell that she has, use level 1 or 2 or 3 to go for, the other spells. And every time you activate these spells, you gain charges, and that will effectively, eventually after your level 2, convert into prowesses. Level 2 will also give you power reserve, and that's when you're going to be doing damage. In terms of utility, she has 90% immunity to bleed and shock, I believe. We can double check on that. When one of her spells is active. And then also against skill champions, purification reinflicts passives. With her stun on personal debuffs, she has access to Neuroshock, which lets her bypass miss. And she also reduces skill opponents through accuracy effects by 100%. And prevents them from evading on top of missing. So she is built like a bullseye counter. But here's the problem. She's not even the best bullseye counter because she's not 100% immune to the bleeds. And I do have my questions looking at Pixie. Mainly, what is she built for? Because don't get me wrong, she doesn't look bad. But she is a new mutant. And every new mutant that's coming into the game is competing with the existing mutants. My question is, what would you do with her better, more efficiently, or faster that you can't do with the current top mutant options? And that is going to be a question that we're trying to answer throughout this video. Because if the answer is nothing really, then she might be in for a bit of a rough time. Now, she does look perfectly fine. There is some good damage in between Neuroshocks and her special attack from prowesses and her spamming those specials. And see that, you can kind of dust-esque rotation. I would say that she has like a bit of a sped up dust rotation, really, because it's very, very similar. With the prowess, coming on for a brief period of time, with the power reserve, with you going for level 2, level 1 type of thing. So she kind of reminds me quite a bit of Lumitrix mixed with dust, because the Lumitrix charge heavy to evade and then knock them down. That is a very similar ramp up process, and the other mechanics are quite similar to dust. But again, question is, will that be kind of good enough? Because even in these bullseye fight examples, still finishing the fights with like 10% missing health. That's not the most encouraging thing. That would be kind of like a similar thing what you'd bring in, I don't know, Cyclops, and we're not running Cyclops. Because, if by design you're still taking damage in that matchup, that is not great news. So that off the bat kind of makes me a little bit worried. But there you go. So that is the rotation there. Let's check out her full abilities. First things first, not everybody cares for it, but her prestige is perfectly respectable. Her prestige is right around this mark, 33570. So she would be in spot number 18, so obviously a top 30 prestige champion, which I think is going to be every new champion by the looks of it, because every new champion has been in top 30. The champion attributes according to Gabam. Obviously, again, we can't really trust these. We can only gauge Gabam's intentions, not the reality from these, I suppose. Survivability 3, so not a tank. Damage 3.5. Again, this can mean anything. It really can. It can mean good damage, because I think Juggernaut has 3.5 damage or something like that. Or it could mean something bad, so we'll see. Ease of use 3.5, so nothing overly complicated. Utility 4. Defender strength 3. Her main defensive worry is the counterweight. Against her, you'll basically want to have an evade counter in order to do the fight quickly. Right, so champion summary. Pixie casts spells which have cooldowns and grant soul wisps. Light attacks lower the cooldowns of soul wisp, lower the cooldowns by 1 second. Spell being struck while charging heavy attack triggers counterweight, inflict a sleep passive, and the neuroshock debuff. Landing the first hit of heavy attack inflicts Oshtur's refusal debuff, lowering shock and bleed potency. Special 1 hits inflict neuroshock passive. Special 2 converts soul wisps into prowess. Special 3 converts soul wisps into attack rating, and she does have a massive level 3. Defender summary: light attacks lower Pixie's cooldowns by 1 second. Combo ending attacks cause Pixie to evade, so you never want to use a combo ending attack. Attackers crossing a bar of power inflict Oshtur's refusal passive, lowering potency, shock, and bleeds effects. Awakened: for each special attack cooldown active, Pixie has a chance to evade. So this is going to be the problem. She will kind of randomly start evading, basically. Right. Abilities. Mutant Pixie Dream Girl, always active. If Pixie's personal debuffs are purified, they are re-inflicted as passives. If the stun from the parry master is purified, inflict stun passive for 1.5 seconds. These abilities do not work against cleanse effect. Pixie's personal non-damaging debuffs and the parry mastery cannot have their durations modified. Pixie's heavy attack can be charged for extended duration. Skill opponents have their true accuracy ability, accuracy lowered by 100%, and cannot lower Pixie's personal weight accuracy. Spellcasting: Pixie can perform various actions, we just discussed those, that count as spells. All spells have cooldowns which prevent them from being activated. As an attacker, special attack spells start on cooldown. Either champion's light attack shorter Pixie's cooldowns by 1 second. As an attacker, casting spells grants Pixie soul wisps, which enhance special attacks 2 and 3. Max soul wisps 24. So they did put a hard limit to it. Grant 2 counterweight misfit and Morpheus cooldown. What? While charging heavy attack, when Pixie would be struck by a basic attack or the final hit of a special attack, she casts Miss on Miss of Morpheus and evades this, and occurs when she is struck by a combo ending attack. When Pixie evades, she counterattacks. Her evade inflicts non-stacking neuroshock. As an attacker, her counterattack inflicts sleep passive. So as defender, you're not gonna get slept. So that's kind of nice. And that will give you 2 of your soul wisps. Heavy attack, landing heavy attack is gonna give you 2 more. First hit casts non-stacking Oshtur's refusal debuff, reducing the potency of opponent's shock and bleed effects by 90% for 15 seconds. Pause during opponent's specials. As defender, non-stacking Oshtur's refusal passive is cast when Pixie's opponent crosses bar power. Fair enough. Round 4, special attack 1, Slice of Seraphim, cooldown 5 seconds. Each hit inflicts neuroshock. These neuroshock scale with Pixie's special attack damage. As defender, they don't. Only base attack. Level 2 grants 6 and cooldown 35 seconds. On activation, gain 50% power efficiency passive for the duration of this special attack. On activation, convert soul wisps into 15% prowesses for 20 seconds. Pause during opponent's special attacks. These cannot expire during Pixie's special attacks. While active, Pixie cannot gain soul wisps. Grant 1, special attack 3. Cooldown 70 seconds, gain 33% power efficiency passive for duration of this special attack, and consume all soul wisps to increase attack rating by 2k per soul wisp. So this is going to have some fairly big damage. And signature ability. While skill opponents are suffering from Pixie's personal neuroshocks, they cannot evade. So she has kind of Stealth Suit Spider-Man slow. It's just the reverse. Because, you know, Stealth Suit Spider-Man can't miss whilst his slow is active. This is basically working the same. When Pixie would gain soul wisp, her personal prowess are active. There is 35% chance to gain additional prowess lasting. As defender, for each active special attack cooldown, Pixie has 20% chance to evade and counterattack. And that's Pixie. So what I think she looks good, but not good enough to get me excited. That is genuinely what I think. And let's go to the mutant class. And let's look at what she's up against currently in the game. Because obviously, we do have Onslaught and we have Jean Grey. That are both dual purpose champions. That are, you know, significant defensive threats quite often. On top of that, we still have Mr. Sinister. And then there is a next set of champions that might... Like, because currently with mutants, the way I see Mutant class is, if a champion is good offensively in Mutant class, nobody's gonna care. Dazzler is good offensively, nobody really cares. No. We have, who else is good offensively? Like, I don't know, Negasonic, counters entire skill class. Nobody cares. For people to kind of like care about an offensively focused Mutant champion, you'd have to be something like Deadpool X-Force. Like, nukiest of the nukes. Like, I don't know, top 5 nuke in like short, mid-length fights in the game. Then people care, because then he's the fastest. So Deadpool X-Force is like the nukiest, like the best. And then after that, we don't really pay that much attention to those champions. Now, whether it's a good or a bad thing, it's a reflection of the way that summoners are and Kabam has designed the game. And then obviously, if you have like an amazing defensive potential and reasonably good offensive potential, then we also do care. So like Captain Britain being, here it's marked as 4 out of 5 defender, but realistically a top 5 defender in the game, and also surprisingly good on attack, then we care. Like Mr. Sinister being, a solid defender, solid attacker, then we care. Obviously, it's far too early to kind of like draw any final conclusions, but my initial impression of Pixie is kind of similar to Lumitrix, just in way more stacked class, with way bigger competition. And it's not like Lumitrix is like, dominating the skill class choice. Not bad, and if people want and like and use and run that champion, I completely understand, because, Lumitrix is a good champion, just not Crossbones or Okoye good. And that's kind of my initial estimate of Pixie. I do feel like she's going to be solid, good even, but I don't think she's aiming for like the top 5, top 8 of the Mutant class. Again, I could be wrong, and it could be that there are a lot of hidden matchups that I'm not currently seeing, and there's going to be quite a bit of extra additional use for her. But by the looks of it, even Kabam doesn't really think so. She's not really a massive defensive threat. She's not really a high damage dealing champion. They have marked her as like having lots of utility, but again, similar with Cyclops, the adrenaline mechanic, where Cyclops reduces vast majority of the damage, for instance, from shocks and from bleeds, it's kind of not good enough, right? I do hope that, potentially a faster ramp up, plus with her being, let's say, a miss and evade counter, that could be enough to uplift her, because that's what she has. She counters miss, evade, she reduces the potency of bleeds and shocks. Those are the 3 things that she does, and has anti-purify mechanics. Another thing that I did not notice, and here's going to be the final problems that I just realized. Well, I had figured them out before, but I almost forgot to mention. There's nothing mentioned about her attacks being like non-contact or energy, which again would make her susceptible, which she would be like the first Mutant champion in quite a while that doesn't counter like Attuma and damage back mechanics, like from Killmonger and whatnot. And the last thing is, it also doesn't have Daunted or seemingly a great way how to get past that. So I am very eager to see how well she would do in the Elena matchup, for instance. Because again, as a Mutant champion right now, I think that is one of the most crucial matchups for competitive play. So it doesn't look like she would be like a nuke against the Elena, for instance. Especially considering that she would have to knock her down and still ramp up. So I don't know. I think she looks good, fine, fun even. I am certainly skeptical of her being like must have or should chase type of champion. Let me know what you think, and I'll catch you guys soon. Bye bye. Hello there, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about